Well, let's hear some more about some paranormal experiences. It looks like we have Andrea up in Wisconsin wants to chat with us about a paranormal experience. Let's see if we can get you on the line. Oh, it looks like my computer's just giving me a second. Hang on. Andrea, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you guys?
Good.
Yeah, having a great freaking time. We've already had some great calls, and we'd love to hear what you have for us. What it seems like you want to tell us about a paranormal experience.
Yeah. So growing up, my grandparents owned this house. It was actually moved, as I learned as I got older, it was moved from one property to another. It was a really tiny house my grandparents built onto it. So part of the house was, I want to say, right now it's over 100 years old, and the other half of it's probably over 50 years old. So, growing up, right around the time my grandpa died, we kind of like said something like, "Oh, if you're here with us, flash a light on and off." All of a sudden, our kitchen lights over there started flashing on and off. Then later on, closer to my senior year of high school, that's when I noticed there was more paranormal activity in the house. This was right around the time my dad actually moved in to take care of my grandma. And there was one night, growing up, not thinking about it in high school, you're dumb, doing dumb things. We played a Ouija board. And so we believe we did not close the portal properly. So as time went on, my grandma passed away. At the time before she passed away, there was electricity not working in certain rooms in the house. And after my grandma passed away, all these lights just went on all by themselves. And then I moved back in with my dad, with my daughter, and we noticed, some things just like the ceiling fan moving by itself. And then my daughter had a toy that the switch was off. And it was a Dora toy that she had, and it would just start talking by itself. So I couldn't really explain that situation. And then right before my dad, my friend, he has like this sense or whatever. He could not be in my dad's basement at all. So when he's just like, I don't know, there's something wrong in your basement. So my dad was tearing up the kitchen floor in the house as he was remodeling the house. He was going to put it up for sale. He wanted to move out of state. He noticed there was a whole nother room in the basement. We thought it was a crawl space. Here it was a whole nother room in the basement. A bunch of old furniture from probably the 1920s.
Oh, wow.
And then my dad has a friend that is actually a paranormal investigator, psychic type deal. She actually came in and said she had this really bad feeling about something behind the wall, and that there was a portal right by that wall. And they believe from us playing the Ouija board, that's the portal that was left open.
Interesting. Let me say some things here.
Okay.
So one of the things that kind of jumps out to me is it sounds like what you're saying is there's been kind of a handful of different experiences that you've had in your life. And I guess what I'm wondering is, before you had these experiences, did you already believe in supernatural stuff? Did you already think that the Ouija board would talk to ghosts, or did you already think that stuff was possible or happening, or?
Well, I was a little skeptical when I was younger until I started noticing like the whole light situation when I was in middle school when my grandpa passed away, and I was like, well, that's kind of odd. Why would the light, do that? But then, like, as I got older and then I played the Ouija board, I mean, I already was a believer then. And then just like what happened when we played the Ouija board, which the light panels, like, if you know, like the light panels that are in the schools, like the classrooms and stuff, that's what my dad had in the house. Like my grandparents, when they had built the house, they put those light panels in, and then my dad took the house over when my grandma died. And then when there's like not in between the big garage doors, there's a regular door, and that flung open. So I was like, that's just odd how that happened. So I mean, I'm like a big believer in that stuff now than versus back then.
Okay. Genevieve, any thoughts? Any questions?
I mean, I don't want to make light of what you're discussing whatsoever. I did want to make just a quick homage to the fantastic paranormal investigator that we had calling earlier in the show. Did you check the electrical box?
That's a good point.
Yes, actually, my dad did. He was actually gonna call an electrician to come over. They couldn't. Well, actually, yeah, he did, because I remember he told me he called the electrician to come over. They said they couldn't even understand why the lights weren't working in the house. And then just one night, it was like I said, shortly after my grandma passed away, the lights that weren't working in certain rooms and this hallway all came on right when we were just all sitting there. Like it was just my dad, his friends, and me just sitting there, and all of them just came on.
Interesting. So
we can't explain that either.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of other calls, Andrea, but before we go, I want to ask you a question. If I could pull something out, like a nice document or a super cool video, or find some expert that could explain it real well, and we could find that solid conclusion that 100% it's got to be this and nothing else, but it didn't confirm the paranormal for you. In fact, it kind of told you, hey, it's probably just that light switch, it's probably just that, fan in the background. Would you want to know that?
I actually would be like, I mean, I guess, yeah, I'd be interested to know like what actually it could possibly be.
Yeah.
It could maybe be something electrical, maybe it is something paranormal. If my dad still stayed there, I'd like to, obviously know more.
Sure. Well, I will tell you before we let you go, Andrea. Again, thank you so much for calling us. We love it. There is a wonderful, wonderful Facebook page for this awesome show. I know you can find the link everywhere in the live chat and the description for this show. If you want, please come hang out with a bunch of us there and shout your questions out and tell your story. And, maybe there's somebody there that has something that really does give a good answer and just kind of, solves that mystery for you.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks for calling.
Yeah.